forces a jump with it this time, and they both stand shielding in the gun smoke, but eventually they both...
Hello and welcome here, everyone. We're excited once again to get things underway on this lovely Friday. We are here on this lovely second to last, actually, week of League of Legends regular season action here in the Elite 3 division. My name is Orbital. With me is, of course, the best minion to ever wander off the rift. It is Random Minion Caster, RMC. How you doing today?
Well, Orbital, I got to talk a little bit with the teams, with their coaches, the captains a little bit, and honestly, after talking to them, they did their best to put my mind at ease. But I am apprehensive because I have seen some things in their draft overall. So, going into tonight, I am hoping for a little bit of that spiciness to come through tonight.
All right, well, the two teams that we'll be facing off are teams that are on opposite sides of the standings, but both still in contention for playoffs. This is going to be Southeast Missouri State University going up against John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And, I mean, right now, SEMO is looking strong. This is a squad that's currently sitting at 3-1, have had a majority share of wins across the board, and for John Jay, it's been a little bit of a struggle, but when you're a newcomer into the scene, I think that's fair for the time that they've been here. I think they're trudging along quite well.
Yeah, fair enough. Both these teams new to the ECAC this split, but SEMO has had prior experience and they know how to work together, whereas John Jay or JJ, they are literally brand new. This is their first semester, Orbital, of even running a League of Legends team.
I think that is something that is very impressive. And again, forays into esports is always difficult, challenging, but extremely rewarding at the end of the day. Hopefully, right now we are getting into this draft because the teams were more than ready to get things underway, and I cannot wait to see what is going to come out here. SEMO, of course, running out on that blue side to start this best of 3. Now, keep in mind, if they win this one, they are going to be locking in one of those top spots inside of the Elite 3 division, top 4, make it into playoffs. And with only one last week after this one of the regular season, it is very, very important you get all the wins that you can. Diana banned away, though, against John Jay. On the flip, Aatrox banned against the top side.
Okay, so interesting enough, JJ on the red side here, they have some really interesting picks. They don't necessarily play meta, and that's where I was hoping the spice to come through. Their bot lane likes to run double enchanter at times, and that means no AD carry. It's an AP carry in the bot lane. The mid lane, things like Diana, like Galio, these more melee-focused mid laners can come through for FN99. And for SEMO on the other side, Orbital, so far we're seeing mostly meta bans. Most of the map likes to play meta, but their bot lane is interesting because their captain Sifra, as well as Jackal, can sometimes role swap between support and AD carry. So despite the fact that they're showing Sifra as the AD carry right now, I'm not 100% sure whether or not they will swap.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, of course, and get an idea. But right now, big power picks being banned away. You know, the Diana Wukong might not be. Milio is one you do still have to worry about. Gotta ban it away, gotta not give it over. Max Lotto gonna say, okay, I don't get one of my favorites. But for JJ, it's another story, right? There's a lot available, and again, we're seeing this Twitch continue to climb in the rankings of, if we don't play it, we cannot allow it to be handed over. Respectful ban out of JJ.
Yeah, there's still a Draven, though, that might still yet come through for Jackal if it comes to it. But our first pick, Orbital, is not meta from SEMO. Well, Zach has been climbing up a little bit in terms of meta-ness, both in the top lane and in the jungle. So while it's not the most meta of jungles, it doesn't surprise me that we see it here as a flex to start the draft.
And it doesn't give too much away. You have engaged. That's really all that tells you. John Jay, though, saying we are going to try and stay near and far away in both respects. Get the bindings down on the Q, but the lasers are going to do so much more work. This one, it looks like, is going to be kind of that hover in and through. I mean, this is a John Jay saying, all right, you got to figure out where this goes, and then Maokai behind, a lot of CC to come out here.
Yeah, and for JJ, that one looks like a cog with a blog special in that bot lane. That's the Lux we were talking about. We were talking about these sort of double enchanters or double mage bot lane, and double flex as well with their first 2 picks. Maokai, still a very strong champion that can be flexed around. Yeah, sure, they nerfed Maokai. Still very, very strong champion. Great at disengage as well, even if that Zac were to come through in the gank. Now, Tahm Kench being picked up orbital, and Tahm Kench to me tells me either Senna or something immobile like a Jinx, like an Aphelios. And considering that you're running into a Lux here, okay, I was going to say, like, I was thinking more Jinx, but it's the safe Senna, and it could be a farming Senna as well. We've seen a sort of shift towards the farming Senna and support Tahm Kench.
With varying levels of success, it does require a little different playstyle, a little bit different understanding of how you want to run things, and so it still synergizes well. Now, JJ, of course, you do have the option. These are immobile champions to an extent on SEMO's side. If you go ahead and lock in this Darius, it's saying a lot. In the top side, right? That'll be Lingulini. I just realized that name. That was Linguini. I'm so sorry. That's a very fun one. I'm very, very excited. Right now, Linguini is going to be hovering and locking in. I want to say a technical blind pick because, again, we did talk about that Zac being a flex pick right now. Now the karma comes out as a ban. JJ realizing what they had to take away.
Agreed, and I do think this is more likely to go the way of Olio in the jungle rather than Frost, because Olio does actually play it in solo queue, whereas I have not seen it on Frost's profile whatsoever. We're seeing the karma ban so taken away from JJ. They are focusing more likely into the solo lanes right now, and SEMO is still having to ban away some of these odd picks like the Pantheon, and that would have been a Pantheon mid for FN99.
And that would have been a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion. I love the fact that they're getting a little bit silly with what they had to ban away. And this is where you were talking about some of the spicy drafts. You and I were discussing, hey, listen, these teams don't exactly play by the standard meta book. And that's why we're seeing some of these champions that you and I, of course, don't normally see banned away. Like, we just don't see it prioritized, but that's the best part. We are getting some finalized bans, though. And to round it out for SEMO, the Nocturne, I think, is very, very appropriate. You cannot allow your team comp to get split apart, be dropped into this paranoia. You really need that ability to keep the Senna safe. So, John Jay, now, you're saying, how do we work this out? How do we still find that pick potential? If that's an Echo lock-in, that'll be heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay,
I kind of like this from JJ a lot, because I still don't know who's going where. Orbital, that could be a jungle Echo, that could be a mid lane Echo, especially since you're blinding it. I love that they're keeping their flex options open right now. And as for SEMO, yeah, you know what, you're going to be playing into the top lane, but other than that, you're really not quite sure. Yone locked in right now, could go both ways. If it is in the top lane, it's a bit of a rough start for that Yone, and Darius can really shut you down and keep you down. Vex hover, okay, into a potential Echo. That's feisty, and I like it because Korean Park is a very strong mechanical player, highest ranked in the game right now at Masters. And instead, it's going to be Lissandra. So they are thinking an Echo mid. This is a great counter for an assassin. Can JJ flex it?
Oh, man. I mean, this is the other side of it right now. JJ, of course, with the counter pick like you were talking about, this is the way to do it. If you do want to try and mix up anything, you hope the rest of the team can pick it up, but it is not going to be that massive flex. Instead, it is going all in on the carry potential right now. JJ hovering and locking in that Kayn against a very heavy melee-sided composition. I say that because you see the Tahm Kench, the Zac, the Yone. These are all champions that you can farm into Red Kayn if you so wish. Because honestly, if you go Assassin here, I mean, the only one that you're really going to find is Senna. I expect to see Red Kayn come out here.
100%. You can't even assassinate the Senna because of the Tahm Kench. She's such a good answer into those sort of pick champions. So undoubtedly to me, Orbital, it has to be Red Kayn, or I'm really not quite sure what JJ would be looking for if they run a blue Kayn here. Now, the drop from JJ is very, very interesting, though, because it is that Lux bot lane with that Maokai. There's a lot of pick potential to come through, but against a Tahm Kench lane, it's going to be very hard. And I'm a little bit worried about their team fighting as well with this comp. You've got a Darius, who's a lane oppressive champion. You don't have a marksman, so you're very front-loaded in terms of your damage. You're looking to burst somebody down, get those resets rolling. If the fight goes long, and it very well might, into the likes of a Lissandra, into the likes of a Tahm Kench, I fear that JJ might not have the sustained damage they need, especially early on in the game before Kayn gets his red form.
I think that's a very astute observation here. I mean, JJ have yet to really find an identity, I feel like. As we said, they are working, this is their first real semester as a League of Legends, kind of esports organization here. And that's kind of the fun part. You're still kind of getting these players together, still trying to find the style that you want. And I mean, I will say they like to get aggressive. I love the fact that you pointed out they need to be able to win a little bit early in the front load, right? They got to be able to burst out, and I think they have the champions to do it, though. If we see FN99, if we see that Echo pop up, we know Echo can be nasty. Yeah, Storm Surge may have been tapered with a little bit. There are still massive threats on this side. I do agree, though. No ADC is a big question mark. RMC, I do want to ask, I mean, right now, taking a look at both SEMO and JJ's composition, I know you leaned into SEMO's side a little bit. Is that for the overall Game 1 threat, or is there anything in JJ's that makes you think, oh, Game 1 could go their way?
Well, I do think JJ still have options, right? We touched on the fact that the lanes are strong early. Darius is very lane oppressive. You can shut down that Yone. That's a huge part of this composition from SEMO, especially if it's a fasting Senna. Fasting Senna doesn't often have as much damage as a traditional marksman, and Lissandra is not a carry mid laner either, which is interesting when you consider that we mentioned Korean Park, their mid laner, is potentially their most mechanical player to come through. So if JJ can shut down that top side, shut down the bot lane with lane oppressive picks, then I think that's a way they can play through this game.
All right, well, there we go. Taking a look at this game number 1. We're going to hopefully have some fun. Meowkai currently on board and realizing this could be dangerous, but didn't see anyone, and now Jackal is finally spotted here. Double binding is going to land, but a lick does catch Cog with the blog, and Cog with the blog is slogged, so that's going to be just a walk away. Vision down by Eluded, though. Is that spotted? I don't think that's spotted, so I think it's fine, but that's a very deep ward inside enemy jungle. Yeah. Okay, it's not spotted by the tower. Okay.
I actually really like this from the side of JJ, because if you can get ahead as the Kane, that's going to be massive for you. You do need a bit of time to scale up, and since the invade did come through anyways, well, you knew that all of SEMO was there. It's a free entry from Eluded. Eluded, though, okay, has to be a little bit careful about handling that one. Zach's not strong at level 1 orbital by any means, but you're more worried because as a Kane, you're not strong either, and the collapse can come in very quickly. Kane, very squishy early on.
So is it more for the fact that you're hoping to farm some of those orbs early? You know you need to kind of stack up as quick as possible, and then you got to catch a Zac. Is that why you would actually look for the deep ward, or is it literally just for vision? Is that all they're doing?
Well, it's good information, right, to know where Zac is. But I really think more than anything else is, can we cheese this a little bit, right? If we know that Olio isn't there, then we go in and steal this away from him. We are faster in the clear. Zac can't really duel early, and that's why we're seeing the return from Eluded, knowing that Olio didn't start on the top side.
I think that's smart. We'll have to keep eyes on Olio and see if there's going to be a shift, right? Are you actually going to work things out and go for that vertical jungling? You obviously know your side is getting taken. On the bot side, though, Sifra, realizing level 2 is going to be hit, has to back away. It is going to be fasting Senna in this current situation, though.
Okay, I like it personally. I actually don't like farming Senna as much. You get more gold for items, so you spike earlier, but it cripples your long-term soul gains. Now, keep in mind, Eluded was spotted on a ward, so won't be able to take the Gromp, but Frost does have to leave lane for this. I don't know if Linguini can get any meaningful advantage. We'll have to see, because that's really what it's about right now on this top side. It's about this Darius-Yone matchup. Can Darius actually pop off? Can he shut down Yone? Make sure it's that 0-10 Yone power spike rather than the 10-0 Yone power spike.
Trying to get that advantage, trying to get that value, and if they can, that's great. However, on the bot side, we are seeing that gank go in, and because of that vertical side jungling, it's causing some problems. Now with the knock up, Maxolotl is in a little bit of trouble, able to flash away thanks to the double binding, and you are safe in the mid lane. We're now seeing a shift as well. Korean Park having rotated in to that upper side jungle does get out of one of the stickier situations, but action by SEMO all the way around, looking for another as Olio is going to wander into the top side of the jungle. However, keep this in mind, Eluded has been able to farm up quite well, and with this challenge, it's going to be a question mark. Do you just wait? No, you don't. You go in. Olio not able to pick up an extra camp.
No, you don't have lane pressure. Even in the mid lane, sure. F99's ankles got broken, but F99 is the one moving first, and that's why we see him be able to force out Olio. And even in the bot lane, Sifra and Jackal are getting pushed now because of that jungle gank. Even in that 2v3 situation, Cog with a blog and Maxolotl actually traded back even 2v3. So JJ's early pressure is, I think, way too much actually for Olio to be poking his head in. if it's not sort of a sneaky mission where nobody spots him going in.
It's just dangerous to think about, right? Olio now set behind a little bit, and this is already leading into JJ's favor, right? We do like to see this. This is a comp that we did say they needed to kind of have this happen, right? They need to have that early oppressive state. They need to get kind of their steamrolling champions steamrolling, for a better term, and we want to see that happen a little bit more. So it's a slight advantage. It's not great. It's a slight advantage, but it is one at the end of the day. So what can they do with it is that big question. Right now, Olio not really deterred, rotating from bot side to top side. Linguini gonna have to flash away. It is a good flash. So Linguini said, okay, not gonna worry too much.
Yeah, interesting choice for Linguini not to use the Ghost instead. It has a shorter cooldown, and Frost would probably have to flash to catch up. Level 5, no fate sealed, can't quite close that distance there. So really efficient gank from Olio, and grubs are about to spawn as well. So SEMO can just kind of sit on that top side, go for those grubs instead. As I say that, the JJ has rotated their support up to secure this one.
Eluded tried. I love the fact that he even still tried to slice in and steal that one away, but Olio, a huge part of it is going to be a problem, but this is going to be that mid lane. No claw to keep you safe. Korean Park is going to flash away and stay safe. The chase of the cat will keep him low enough, but that's something that we had to mention, right? Olio has been rotating very heavily, trying to get these ganks done. You're not really getting kills, though, so you're really hoping on the fact that your laners are able to get meaningful CS advantages. At the current moment, though, Eluded is being able to match and in an okay state while still picking up decent farm.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned the fact that Olio right now is hoping that your lanes are able to get a CS advantage, because look at the CS numbers, Orbital. They are, in every single lane, actually getting an advantage right now, and that's what SEMO are looking for. They're looking to not lose the early. They know they will scale up. They know their composition comes online, especially when they start to group up with the Lissandra, with the Tahm Kench. The pick potential, the burst potential, and the assassination potential from JJ is rather crippled in this state. So Olio, that's why he can be so efficient with the ganks. He doesn't need a hard commit to it. He just needs to make sure JJ can't get ganks of their own.
With how quiet it is going to be. Right now we're still seeing those juggles between the two. However, Frost on the top side may not be enjoying this too much. Good dodge on the empowered Q, but I mean, that whirl of a blade is going to allow Eluded to have a bit more free farm on this top side. Meanwhile, that'll put the jungles into contention for those different objectives. Infernal Drake will go the way of SEMO as JJ get triple grubs.
And it's worth noting as well, Zach really slow on the Dragon take, so normally needs a little bit of help, but they're trying not to give anything away here. They're looking for Cog with the blog.
I mean, this is a good knockup. Not level 6 yet, so can't really know him, but you get the stacks as much as you want. Rotating in a little bit more. Maxolotl under the tower is quite dangerous, but take a look. Cog with the block tried to go in and fight, and that's going to be a follow-up behind Maxolotl. Because of that, not only do SEMO get 2 on the bot side, they get the Dragon, and then plates as well. Massive boon for SEMO University on this bot side.
And they just pop off right now, shut down one of those side lanes, Orbital, and Korean Park didn't get the kills either. Now, I've mixed thoughts about that. On one hand, you are a Lissandra, so kills are probably not the most efficient on you. But on the other hand, I've also seen Lissandras take over a game, especially against assassins. Also notable, Korean Park didn't even miss much CS as well. Top lane?
There is no flash. That means it's a kill. SEMO. The snowball is starting. RMC, FN99, realizing they're also in a little bit of danger. It's the only lane that has technically been, I would say, untouched in the death pool.
Okay, this is actually kind of funny with how the things have broken down, because you see the gold lead right now. It's in the top lane, it's in the bot lane. Mid's actually pretty even, and mid's the lane we expected sort of SEMO to win out, being the counter pick, and the side lanes were where JJ was supposed to win out. Everything has gone contrary to expectations right now.
I think that's some of the fun parts about it too, right? We can predict what we want, we can say what we want about how the game's supposed to be played, but ultimately it's the players that always either defy our expectations or play by the book. And I mean, granted, early kills, not the most, you know, it doesn't always signify that things are going to be bad. It's a good indicator, but it's not always that kind of stamp at the end of the time. If we see it happen again, though, I'm going to be very worried. SEMO now kind of fluctuating on if they want to allow this push to happen or not. Sifra and Jackal going to go ahead and collect this wave very nicely. Take a look at the warding. JJ have this entire bot side littered with wards way earlier then the next dragon is going to be.
Yeah, this is, I think, partially to protect your lanes now at this
Yeah,
point.
like the early ganks are like, okay, now we need vision, now we need vision.
Yeah, because we did see a great rotate down from Korean Park, and actually there was enough vision to spot that Lissandra roaming down as well. The problem was that the bot lane was in the middle of fighting right there, and I guess the call wasn't made over comms perhaps, or they just weren't able to move out of position. And Orbital, I expect to see that continue actually for the side of SEMO, because for JJ, if your lanes start to fall behind, you need jungle pressure. Well, guess what? Eluded still hasn't gotten form yet, and until Eluded gets form, I don't think you can expect too much jungle help.
I mean, you haven't really been able to gank, right?
True.
And I understand when you play a Kayn, it's like you do want to duel. You've been dueling the Zac every so often, but hasn't really been super impactful. Like, Olio has been tracked, but not really killed. Now on the bot side, Sifra getting knocked over the side of the wall, has Flash, able to get out to safety, but Jackal is going to go ahead and wander their way to the backside as well. Korean Park going to try their best to hang on, but no not going to come through, and so SEMO get away with what feels like should have been a couple kills, right? Like, that was JJ trying their best to lock it down.
Yeah, and they just don't have the damage at this point, unfortunately. Even worse, Orbital, is the fact that Jackal still has Flash and Devar. So Sifra effectively still has Flash. Olio.
Oh, there's a flash available. Good out by Linguini, but that's going to be a slap in. Is there a follow-up behind? Yes, there is. The form might be enough. Lingolini said, okay, I'm in trouble. Draw under the tower, though, and the burst is not going to be enough. So Frost not able to finish it off, but Lingolini is going to have to leave that lane. Another great gank by Olio means that, again, you kill, but so much lane pressure.
And Frost didn't even have Ignite or Fate Sealed in that fight, Orbital. If he had either, that would have been a kill conversion onto that Darius. So this Darius that was effectively blinded, as you rightly pointed out in draft, has not worked out. And for Darius, it only gets worse from here.
And mid lane as well now, right? SEMO, they're a team that I believe when you talk with them, you let me know, they're a team that like to kind of play the foundational blocks. They kind of build their leads up, and they look to the mid to late to really have an extensive lead. They're building the blocks very well. Every single lane currently having a lead in CS as well as kills.
Yeah, they know fundamentally that they have strong lanes and they're good players, and that's why they like to kind of just snowball from there, which is worrying if you're JJ, because, well, right now they have the foundations for this snowball. Linguini now coming in towards that Void Grub Pit. Olio still has passive.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're going to get here. That is going to be a grab of one. Olio going to hop away, and they can't follow. Take a look at this. Frost is going to come in from the side. This might be a delayed re-engage, and the rest of JJ actually have to be worried. This is 1,000 HP still on this last scrub, and in goes Korean Park. That's going to be a double knockup into a kill. A slaughter of the best, and it's just SEMO to grab 2 for free.
And honestly, I respect what JJ were looking for bot lane. Nature's Grasp comes out.
I mean, I think Jackal's going to be okay because Sifra's there with the shields. Massive damage to come out here as Sifra's just free-firing. Jackal survives under the tower, and look at those souls being stolen. Sifra on the bot side said, thank you so much, Olio, for the earlier gank. We are set to go.
Korean Park, perfect range onto that to make sure that the parallel convergence couldn't land the stun, and you baited FN99 into that. Yeah, things are starting to snowball real quick here, Orbital, and that Void Grub fight from JJ, it looks so risky that they opted to stay and it backfired. But at the same time, I appreciate what they were thinking, which is, hey, the snowball is rolling really hard right now. We need to stop it, or we're just going to get rolled over anyways. So even though it looks like a bit of a desperation play, it kind of was, but an understandable one. And I appreciate that JJ were looking for that. I don't fancy their odds as this game goes on.
I mean, right now it does feel even more forced. Right now, Eluded trying to throw down a couple ganks before this dragon is going to be started here. We're starting to see that desperate feel. And I mean, right now, Eluded, this last pick, Kayn, I will say it every single time I'm on desk. Any R5 pick has to have a lot of impact on the game. It is that kind of glue, that sealant that you put onto a game to really kind of bring the comp together. Eluded has not had that opportunity. Had a great early jungle pathing, was able to get 3 buffed, I believe. Right now hasn't had anything outside of it. Even this dragon, you're not sure if you can fight it. SEMO have 4 here. A possible 5th if they so wish, but that's going to be a great route. Again, Korean Park grabbing 3, and now you're going to go in with the Glacial Prison. It keeps everyone at bay. JJ have to run away. Olio says, where's the rest of them? FN99 on the flip side. Going to try and keep this all safe. Chrono break right back to safety. The jump in, FN99 saying, okay, I got a flash as well. SEMO win that fight with ease.
Yep, and you know that that was exactly what Korean Park was waiting for the entire time, baiting with that Frozen Tomb, ready to roll at any given time. And don't forget, and not only does it give you the stats as Orbital, it gives you the heals as well. So Korean Park can take a lot of damage, heal back up after it's all said and done, and your team's just pumping out the damage on anybody who tried to dive you. In the meantime, Turret will take him down.
The biggest caster curse we've ever given right there, right? Like the biggest of caster curses, it feels like. FN99 with no chrono break does look juicy, but a great outplay under the tower gives them a nice kill. Not only that, Eluded was able to pick up one as well, and because of that initial situation, Frost actually can't take the Herald, so interesting situation. Granted, I don't know if it's going to be enough. And Axolotl now going to get jumped on. This might be a combination play if they can, but look at the damage. Jackal's like, yo, I'm so much stronger right now. You don't have a true ADC. We're just going to slaughter the Lux. Now we're going to knock up on the Maokai. Maokai's going to be chopped down as well. Does the root land? Yes, it does. A final stack for Sifra.
Yeah, this bot lane, it's kind of over at this point. Unfortunately, Cog with the block got poked a little bit too much early on. Ghost from Linguini trying to catch Frost, not using the flash, opting for the Fate sealed out instead. And even with all that here, Orbital, JJ, they've burnt out an ultimate, but this Herald take is so scary for them.
Oh, yeah. They have no vision. Take a look. Keep who in mind is there. Korean Park roaming around the side. That's going to be a slingshot in. There is flashes on Lingalini and Eluded, but you can't flash a Glacial Prison. That's point and click, baby. A double knockup is going to keep yourself safe for a moment, but still the CC chain is just too good. Double stun coming out from FN99, but FN99 is about to be zeroed out. Korean Park is not going to fall. Maxolotl going to try and get a consolation prize, which you do, but the tree running through the forest is soon to be chopped down. You're a lowly support, and actually you are safe, but you lost a good chunk of your members as Herald will be taken by SEMO.
I'm just glad an Axolotl got out, Orbital. Those are really cute. And you know what, a Maxolotl surely maxed out charisma, right? Maxed out cuteness. SEMO, though, they will be able to secure this Herald, and we were just talking about how dangerous it was, the collapse from multiple directions. The pressure right now from SEMO in their lanes is too strong. Eluded, sneaking back in, and this time, Frost ain't there, Korean Park ain't there.
This is one of the biggest forces. I mean, Eluded realizes things are going from bad to worse. If you get the smite, you're good, but you miss it. So Eluded should be able to leave, but they're going to actually look. Remember, Olio doesn't actually have the passive on you. Draw him away. Slingshot should not be available, and they're going to try and fight. On the bot side, Sifra's able to get on a killing spree. Olio's going to pay with her life, but you still got the objective, right? Bot side in favor of SEMO. Top side JJ are just trying to make it back to even. SEMO are like, okay, we got the Herald. You don't.
Sure. Yeah, I like the fact that JJ did come right back in, though, knowing that they had a numbers advantage. It just doesn't work out. Now, FN99 just getting poked out by Korean Park, chasing right there. Again, as long as that Frozen Tomb is up, it's so... This matchup is so deceptive because Korean Park can be down health, and it literally does not matter with that all.
Yep. And with all that pressure being drawn towards that top side and mid, we're seeing that bot side be taken. So how much can they get right now? Glacial Prison, as you said, so easy. Or actually, the Tomb is going to be there. Flash out. Korean Park not going to be stunned up, but a chase coming out from Maxolotl. This should be the finishing kill. No! A huge outplay as the Claw gets you to safety back to the middle of the lane. And now the Racine can collapse. SEMO stay off our mid lane. Lissandra, the queen, protected by her guards. That's going to be a knockout. Korean Park is still alive. And now a heavy split fight means Cog with the block is going to flash away. The rest of the members of JJ are falling by the wayside as SEMO lose no one. Maxolotl, a chunk taken out of your backside, and that will be Jackal to follow. The Jackal hounds this unfortunate support as it will be a final. That's 16-4 as SEMO push through mid.
Herald keeps on charging. The Void Mites being spawned by that one. They'll take half the turret, but that's it. And Linguini trying his darndest up top right now to fire back in terms of gold. Actually gets the turret with bounty objectives, but what do you lose in exchange?
A lot is the answer, RMC. A lot is that answer. Not only do you lose, I think it was 2 towers, one mid and one in bot side, you lose control over the upcoming dragon, right? SEMO have not recalled, but with only 10 seconds left and a pretty heavy-handed purse, I don't think you have to leave, right? You're going to go ahead, stay here, try and kill Eluded, who, again, is just trying to farm their way up. A nice slingshot in as Olio realizes a few more, actually flashes away, which is surprising to me. I mean, you're strong, but you say, no need to take extra damage. We're going to get this dragon. We're going to put ourselves on soul point, and with Cloud, you can fight even quicker. SEMO putting all the final pieces to try and take this game one.
I mean, although it didn't have passive, so he's not actually as tanky as he looks right now.
Oh boy, you don't need it. You don't need it, because Frost has got your back. Eluded, sneaking in a quick smite on the scuttle. The smallest of consolation prizes for JJ.
Yeah, take it, right? There's literally no other upside from that series of events, unfortunately, for the side of JJ. And overall, I'm looking at their comp right now, and this is what we touched on, right? The fact that the composition for JJ, ironically, actually needed to win early and snowball. And the reason why I call that ironic is that's SEMO's preferred playstyle. And JJ actually is a team that normally likes to scale up to the late game, play that mid to late team fight. And this comp isn't it for the team fights, unfortunately. Eluded has scaled up. FN can continue to scale, but right now, that snowball that we're seeing from SEMO is just...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Frost getting a little bit of help is going to fall finally, but how long you held on is crazy by Frost.
I'm actually surprised that I just noticed Frost started with Kraken Slayer into Infinity Edge, not the usual Blade of the Ruined King we saw. Or else I think Frost might actually have been able to survive that one. Right now he's pumping out a ton of damage though, and in those team fights, it's huge.
Oh man. Oh man. This is, by the way, a farming Tom Kench. This is a farming Tom Kench. Eluded is not going to win this, I don't think. Yeah, you're walking away from the wall so he can't run. That is so mean. That is so mean, Jackal. Do it. Do it. Do it, Jackal. Do it. Support rule the world one more time. All you have to do is hit him one more time with the Q. There you go. In comes a teammate, though. You are going to be safe. Eluded getting a ticket out, but you might lose a teammate on the back end. Supports are going at it, and Jackal is just too strong. That'll be the Chrono Break crack. Jackal holds off 3 members of JJ, if you will.
They unbenched the Kench Orbital, and right now Jackal is undying, unkillable. And you look through this roster right now, who do you go after? Orbital, you can't kill Korean Park, you can't kill Olio when his passive's up, you can't kill Jackal. The only person it feels like you can go for is either Sifra or Frost, and Frost right now has a Vamp Scepter. If that becomes a Blade of the Ruined King, you literally have one target left, and that's Sifra.
Yep. And Sifra has done so well the entire time of playing at a smart distance. I wouldn't say playing safe or anything. You're 5-0-2, you know what you have to do, right? But you're playing at just the right distance that not only are you always safe, but you always have kind of that damage aspect, especially with your teammates on the back end, making sure they're good to go. And still, look at that, still not stunned up, realizing that this is going to happen. And out you have to go. It's just an insane kind of situation. SEMO are playing this so well. Lingalini, though, able to get the kill onto Frost with the help of Eluded, so maybe this is the time to turn it around. Right now the class is coming in. You do get a slam in. Double knockup though as JJ try a desperate fight. The rest of SEMO are quite low, and Sifra's only at about half HP. I'm not sure how well they want to fight this, and that's going to be Korean Park burning down to death. You are going to get eaten up and get the shield. This challenge is there as SEMO say, low HP what? Low HP who? We are only really going to lose 2 as that fight should have gone multiple different ways. FN99 is finally able to get that kill. It is going to be JJ's win. Jackal again in a 1v3, but this time I'm a little bit more worried about the Tom Kench's life. Binding a root, eluded with a knockup. You are going to get that kill. No, another heal? Are you kidding me, Jackal? Stop. I'm running out of breath right now. Please just die. Thank you. That will be the shutdown as JJ at 22 minutes win what I will call the most desperate of team fights.
And I can't believe it took them that long to kill Jackal Orbital.
What was that, like 30
actually
seconds?
respawned. It felt like a minute is what it felt like. Now, it is worth noting, JJ, great series of plays from them. The moment they got the catch on Frost, JJ immediately collapsed onto SEMO in the mid lane with the numbers advantage, 5v4, multiple directions. And so JJ, even now, despite the fact that the early game has been so rough for them, despite the fact they're down, what was it, 9,000 gold at that point, they have not given up, and they are still looking for these team fight angles. It's hard for them to bring the comp to bear. But when they can actually get in there, Obro, you're seeing that experience, their specialty of teamfight, still present.
They just need that maybe 3 to 4 more times, I think. They need to have, like, I say that, but I mean, if we're leaning into team fights, it's possible, right? I feel they've,
Well,
don't laugh at me, please. I'm trying to make a point in your arm.
I'm with you, Obro. Like, I'm feeling your pain right now, like, because they are so far behind that how many more times do they have to do that? And it's such a hard calculation to make. Like, we need ghosting forward right now.
I mean, they might
Jackal.
get the tankiest member of SEMO right now. Jackal just kind of wanders their way out. That is rude to say. However, It's going to be Dragon Angle, right?
Oh.
This is
Korean Park?
TP? I'm not sure about this. Korean Park just TP'd into the middle of them, but thought the rest of the team was there. You are able to get the Glacial Tomb down, but the rest of the team is now going to jump in. A double stasis is only going to keep you alive for so long. Out you go, though, as Frost gets killed in the back line. This is the fight SEMO wanted. Everyone is ready to go. Evan99 chased to the ends of the earth. That will be eluding their life as they die to 4. SEMO with an ace.
The trust on this team, Orbital, is insane, and they will be rewarded for it. Baron is up, Dragon, Cloud Soul is up. SEMO should be able to easily pick up both. And what a hero play from Jackal. What incredible synergy from this team. Korean Park, I thought he was done. Dusted, did to rights on that TP. But he knew exactly how long Jackal needed to get there. And Jackal, without Burning Flash, by the way, didn't even have that available, got the Devar off at the critical moment.
It's just that good. I was actually wondering, I was like, Korean didn't die. Korean Park didn't die. And because of that fact, they clear the Baron in an instant. They aren't even worried about the wards, right? Like, this is going to be a double buff. Now, of course, SEMO might lose 1 or 2 members, but it's only max level. That's a lie. It's gone. SEMO, in what is something that is normally seen as a very difficult stance to have, gather both global objectives easily.
Yeah, and one of the things, because they picked up Baron so early, Orbital, before they went for that Dragon, you see that they used the Empowered Recall. So there's really no angle for JJ to even try and punish them for the Baron into Dragon take after teamfight. Sure, they're not fully healthy, but you don't have enough time to actually get there. And now, SEMO, having based, having bought items up, 2 items in some of these cases, 2 major items from their counterparts, they can go for this sort of final-esque push. If they find 2 or more kills, they can potentially just end the game.
I mean, what more do you have to do? You don't have to worry about too much. Eluded, trying to get chunked out here and trying to run away into the Umbral Traps as you go, but you're dragged back to a fight, whether you like it or not, and trying to flash away, and the Glacial Tomb, it's just there. It's so easy to grab. And down goes your jungler, one of the mainstays of knockups, of sustain, of front line that you're hoping for. It's just going to be a push in the mid lane by 4.
Yeah, and in the bot lane, F99 is actually being actively interfered with right now, so he can't TP. Oleo looking to go in.
And F99's dead, right? Like, that's going to be your big split pusher down, so JJ realized this is going to be it. Lingolini is going to be chunked out. A double root turns into the Dawning Shadow. Sifra is ridiculously strong. 10, 1 in 7. SEMO watched 4 off the map as JJ watched their base crumble.
Yeah, and we said they just need 2 to 3 picks to potentially end the game. It's 5 seconds for Eluded to come back up. The minions are pushing in. Frost is walking another wave in as well. Has the Fade sealed, so a dive is on the table right now for SEMO.
It's just that good. SEMO saying, we are the ones in the lead. We will ensure we stay in the lead. We do not care about anyone that stands in our way. We will take the game ourselves. From start to finish, they were dominant, and they continue to be so. 3-1, looking to turn it to 4-1. Game 1 goes the way of SEMO University.
And what a stifling Game 1, Orbital, from the side of Southeast Missouri State University. SEMO there. They knew their strong points. They played to it. They played a standard composition as well. And I respect what JJ tried to do. It is a best of 3, so you can experiment a little bit in Game 1. They went for one of their spicy drafts, which I normally like, but SEMO were just unfazed by it. They knew exactly what they had to do, punished and won in what felt like a bit of a counter matchup in some of those situations. So huge props to them. And for JJ, that's a lot of problems, Orbital, because on one hand, like, if you lose like that in your lanes, then fundamentally, what do you change to kind of deal with that?
I mean, to me, it was going to be eluded in that jungle, right? That Kayn, it was one that I sat there and was like, hey, you know, it didn't have as much impact as you really hoping for. After the triple buff, it looked good, and then you kind of wane there, right? You were chasing that Zac, but it's one to kind of be watched for. At this current time, though, we're not the players, right? We are the casters here at the end of the day. The players get to define their own destinies at the end of the day. Let's go ahead, throw it to a quick break, and we'll ensure that the teams are ready to go for what could be the final game of the night. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. That was a game number one that I think showcases pretty dang well why SEMO are one of the top here in the Elite 3 division. It was from start to finish control. That's what it felt like. Even though Olio got 3 buffed, it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, I don't want to say it's fully controlled overall. We did see Korean Park get some really aggressive plays in the mid to late game, perhaps even overextending on the turret in one of them, getting Olio killed as well. But I agree. SEMO, even when they made the mistakes, they were still in control of the game. And again, we have to remember, this is JJ's first split for their League of Legends team. And one of their strengths throughout the split has been their ability to adapt and to learn from game to game. So going into game 2 Orbital, I don't think we'll see a repeat of what we saw in game 1. I don't think we're going to see as one-sided a match.
Well, we shouldn't. I would hope so, because we're getting side swaps as well. If we're going to get anything different, it's going to be with the side swap. And we do get to talk about a little bit of, if you are JJ, this brings about a very different draft aspect, right? Now you're hunting for those priority picks. Now you're hunting and understanding that you're not going to have, you know, a super favorable, a singular lane, that R5 that maybe you're hoping for before. It's going to be vastly different. So let's go ahead and get into it. JJ already saying, yo, we want to move this along as quickly as possible. SEMO on the other side, though, still looking for a very cohesive, very straightforward composition. If they don't, though, that'll be surprising in its own right.
Yeah, and I like the fact that JJ has actually opted for the blue side, because their last pick, the counter pick that they were supposed to have, was that Kayn in the jungle. And they did that to keep their flexes open right till the last pick. It didn't work. And if you're not going to counter pick a lane orbital, then I think blue side's better. You could potentially get prio picks. Now, I don't know if there is a particular prio pick they want to take away from the side of SEMO. Maybe the Zac in the top lane, or Lingolini up there, because I don't think Eluded necessarily plays it. But other than that, they don't have a lot of overlap in their champion pools.
Well, right now we are seeing a little bit of an adjustment. Really, really big respect over to Jackal, who, again, we're talking about Korean Park, Zifra, all of them doing so well, but there's a lot of reasons why we didn't see a couple kills come through for JJ. It was that Tom Kenshi was so well picked up. JJ saying you're not going to get that again. You can't play that champion once again. So, of course, in that same respect, you got to drop some bans right now. JJ realizing, what else do we kind of want to give over? There's only so many options.
And for SEMO, they're keeping their bans for now, because why not, right? It worked the last time. JJ leaving open the Twitch this game, and I kind of like that, because I don't think that SEMO will necessarily default to that Twitch. They don't have to. If anything, I'd expect them to go more towards that Draven sort of early game pressure, because that's what worked so well for SEMO last game, was getting early leads and snowballing, never letting up.
Let's see, that first pick will show us that JJ are ready to steamroll, ready to go for early game or go towards that mid to late. And I have not seen Shen in a long time, but that is going to be a first pick Shen for JJ. I'm bring it on, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the game. So here's the thing. I actually think Shen is pretty strong for certain team compositions, especially if we're going to run a hyper carry, which I think makes sense for JJ and the way they like to play in terms of late game team fights. It's great for that. I just don't know if it's B1 orbital, because you can definitely punish that in lane, right? Like, there are really tough matchups. Like, hey, if you want to run the Darius into it, that's a great matchup. Now, we do see the Rel and Zac on the other side from SEMO. So, really standard start. I like it. Again, 2 potential flex picks to come through. And Zac into Shen's actually not a bad matchup for the Zac in the top lane. So, we'll see if that ends up being where it goes. JJ, though, yeah, they are dropping a hyper carry composition.
This is gonna be if you've ever played any sort of poker, this is like all inning on a singular hand, because you don't have much else to all in on. This is, you're hoping one lane wins it out, and JJ have already kind of identified that. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of a Jinx band away, of any of those hyper scaling ADCs be targeted, as SEMO also fluctuate very heavily towards that lane domination. Jace coming out here saying, yo, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to have that safety option. And I think that's appropriate. Nocturne still banned away, saying that Shen is not going to go in the jungle. Why would you play jungle Shen? Do not do that. It is going to be a Nocturne ban. SEMO still saying they have counter picks, so they're not worried. There's a Varus ban, a singular ADC to be taken off.
Yeah, so if we're looking for hyper carries, Smolder is still on the table.
Yep.
which is kind of short range, but with this much fuel, I think you actually could run it. Jinx on the table, Sivir's on the table, Kog'Maw is on the table if you want to run the old Juggernaut composition, because this is actually looking quite like a Juggernaut comp so far.
Wow.
Twitch taken off the table, I like that. Twitch was another one you could run as a hyper carry, and I like that JJ have removed it, because if you can't play it, Twitch could potentially outrange you.
All right, now JJ are actually realizing that, yeah, that's okay. RMC,
Juggernaut,
you might
okay.
have called it. If this is okay, we got the card. This is straight up out of like season 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Wait.
And then even more, this is JJ saying, we only have the Kog'Maw. We only have the Kog'Maw. Is that actually a jungle Shen?
Yeah, it is, because Lingalini is the Cinch player on this team, and he's playing the top lane right now, so... I can't
What was I
believe you
just
called
saying? What was I just saying earlier? Why is this happening? Why is this happening to me?
I can't believe you called this. Okay, but Jungle Shen's not terrible overall. It's actually got pretty decent ganks if your lane has damage. Though that does seem to be a little bit lacking right now as I'm looking at this. Galio, okay, you could still punish the mid lane chase. I actually don't hate it for that particular matchup. Top lane though is going to be a nightmare. Like Singe is going to do Singe things. You can't really gank the lane, especially into Renekton, who got buffs on this patch. He's got a lot more sustain. He skills quite a bit better as well. Yeah, this one's looking like a spicy one overall. So, okay, let's quickly break this down. JJ, we know what to do. It's Juggernaut.
Give it a shot, RMC.
It's just Juggernaut composition, straight and simple. I actually really like it. It doesn't have a lot of moving parts. Just make sure the Kog'Maw lives, right? And to give credit to Sifra, or pardon me, to Cog with the blog last game, that wasn't the problem, right? The Lux getting picked was because you got left alone. You're not going to see Lulu roaming out as much. They should be fine in the lane phase. SEMO, on the other hand, interesting response. They've gone with some lane strength, individual agency champions like Renekton and Kai'Sa, but this could be AP Kai'Sa, especially with the Renekton and Jace, and it's more likely a poke composition to try and answer this Juggernaut. So SEMO actually want to slow down a lot of these skirmishes, create as much space as possible, and poke. If they get hard engaged on, JJ actually has a pretty good shot of winning these team fights.
I mean, they do if they don't give up a little bit of that fantasy. You can see the whimsical nature of this bottom lane for JJ kind of setting up, but this is going to be the danger, right? Max Alotl currently holding steady, and what should be a 5-point ward goes down, and you get jumped on, but I don't think there are going to be any flashes, so Max Alotl allowed to live. This is why you always stand not on the edge. You stand a little bit more in the middle, and you go ahead and identify what's going to go down. JJ are not going to lose anyone to an invade.
Yeah, and JJ is not going to be invading on the other side either. Not with a Shen. You're kind of just playing it safe. Again, JJ just wants as stable lanes as possible, as much time as possible for Cog with the blog to hit at least 2 items, preferably 3. And Eluded, gonna get a bit of help. A big leash from this bot lane. Shen's clear wasn't the fastest in the past. I actually don't know whether he's good in the jungle right now, because you're right. When's the last time we saw a Shen? I feel like the last time I saw it was support Shen, not even top lane.
I mean, I've seen it picked up, and I don't want to say like lower elo games, but it has been kind of that unique pick, right? If you feel Shen's good, if you feel like you can duel well, it's picked up. It's just, it's not meta at the current moment, but for me, it's top lane, right? You say support, I say top. Jungle is in the middle, I guess, but it's, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Lingalini is the other one that I'm going to be really interested to watch this. It is Ghost Ignite. Like, this is one of the tried and true annoyance builds, right? This is not playing for, I would say, proper laning techniques or anything. Lingalini is going to be on their own, and we're actually going to have to keep track of a lot of these different motions, right? Eluded's jungle pathing, how quickly are you going to clear? Is Lingalini actually going to proxy? Is that Renekton going to get value? There are so many little moving parts that JJ actually want to keep track of as well.
Yeah, oh, and in the mid lane already, Korean Park looking for this.
No.
God, dodge an auto!
Oh.
I like almost like
RMC.
the call from FN99 there was like, Serpentine, dodge the skill shots. And Korean Park's like, I'm just gonna right click you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Jace though, right? Like, we knew this Jace was gonna come in. It was like it's like a perfect counter pick. I really like that. Right now on the top side, we're seeing another little juggle there as Frost is trying to lay down the damage, as Lingalini is trying to hold steady as well. Still though, a huge thing about mid lane. Remember, Korean Park last time played just a counter matchup denial of FN99. Now having kill threat, vastly different game.
Yeah, because last game the denial was more countering potential engages for Echo, but if Echo doesn't opt to dive in, you can still kind of farm up against the Lissandra. It's just a little bit tough. It's the melee into range, but it's not an end-all sort of thing. Whereas right now, the Jace is actively looking to kill you, and that is an end-all situation. You're seeing the poke come down, and I actually really like this from SEMO, because we hyped up Korean Park. When I spoke to their captain, Sifra, he hyped up Korean Park, and now Korean Park's on a champion who can actually take over again.
Well, bot side is going to be a little bit different. Jackal running interference here, but I mean, this is the other side of it, right? So, Cog with the blog, by the way, we should have known Kog'Maw was going to come out with the game, but Kog'Maw still actually does a surprising amount of damage, especially paired with something like the Lulu. It's still fairly strong if you step up the wrong way, right? Massive amounts of HP damage as well as shred potential. It's there. It's very nice. Lingalini as well, being a pain in the butt in the top side. It's kind of a role reversal from game number one. Game number one, it was FN99 that was kind of like holding steady, and there wasn't anything crazy while the side lanes fell apart. Right now, JJ's side lanes doing okay.
Yeah, and it's actually really interesting when you consider that usually Cog's the champion who needs to scale. Singe is a champion who kind of needs to scale, and that's why he proxies early, because you don't interact with the opposing laner when you get to just kind of proxy the waves. So we'll have to see if that kind of holds true, though, because despite the fact that JJ is winning out right now, Korean Park is still the menace to watch.
Is that taunt going to land? It is. Yeah. How much damage are you going to bring down? Are you going to get the trade? Yes, you do. Flash under the tower. Eluded is going to be more than fine. Honestly, JJ coming out with the spice, and I like it. If you're going to change things up. Oh, that bait. Jackal with the bait of a century right now. Said, yo, you ain't got nothing. Cog with the blog is about to be bogged. You are dead in the water. Sifra with a kill on the enemy ADC.
Yeah, and they saw Jackal and they're like, oh, this must be safe.
No, the cannon lived. The cannon lived. Okay,
no, I think
Maxolotl got it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We love to see supports actually get some gold. Here to see. I want to talk about the mid lane dive, though, a little bit there, because Korean Park actually had flashed the entire time, and we saw him flash at the very end of it. If he had flashed the taunt, I think he would have lived. But I think he was trying to see if he could get away without using it, and ended up expending it inefficiently. So there is still an opportunity here now to punish this Jace every time he steps up. Sifra?
I actually really like that. It looks funny because you know the flash was called against Eluded, but Sifra's like, yo, I'm still gonna get taunted as Eluded faceplants. So it was just like, it was a funny little situation. Either way, you get the flash out of Sifra. Dragon is gonna go away as SEMO, and this early game is pretty rocky compared to what we thought it was gonna be.
Rocky for who, Orbital? Is that
right?
The
Like
right now?
I said that statement. I'm not sure which, honestly.
Yeah, because on one hand, we are seeing JJ apply more pressure into the lanes, but as our lovely observer Samantha Price has showed us there, the gold is actually favoring SEMO in those side lanes where they might be losing pressure, but they're up CS, and in the mid lane, ironically, FN99 is actually up a little bit of CS, but down in terms of kills and deaths.
Pain rings true. Korean Park's having a ball, right? Like, this is gonna get worse and worse. By the way, this is a 700 gold lead. SEMO should have a Dirk and then some. Yeah, bought the tier up and boots longs. Like, this is expect mid lane for Korean Park to go the way of just absolute disgusting nature. FN99, I wouldn't be surprised if he had to pick up a Seeker's On Guard early. Like, that is, I know it's more expensive, but I don't think you can just get away with raw AP right now.
It's gonna feel really tough, and the thing is, normally Jace has that sort of power trough a little bit while you're waiting for the tier to stack up. When you've got all these components, you've got garage sale build, but JJ is shopping on an elementary school budget right now. So even if you have a garage sale build, it's still going to be stronger than whatever FN99 can bring to lane right now.
Keeping eyes there right now. We are seeing the jungle action actually turn a little bit. Olio back on the Zac said, okay, now I'm going to try and match pace with Eluded. Eluded is going to get that scuttle, but I mean, I don't know if you really want to chase Olio's like, yo, I got to pinch. How much can we get? Korean Park now rotating up. Again, this rotate from the limb lane. SEMO are using it to peak efficiency. JJ watching as their top and jungle have to leave.
Oh, bro, the words jungle action does not exist this game. It's a Shen and a Zac. They're just going to stare at each other.
Yeah.
Bot lane action is very real, though, as Cog with a blog continues to rain down Hellfire on Sifra.
But even then, CS is staying pretty tight. Sifra able to kind of manage around. I'll be really interested to see that level 6 change up here. However, Grubs are going to go the way of Olio. Maybe get all 5 and 6. Jackal, though, taking a lot of pain here. And Cog with the blog and Maxolotl are doing pretty dang well. The HP difference is going to afford them a chance to push a wave and then a plate in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I think for the rest of JJ's team, I kind of don't care how their laning phase goes. As long as they're not feeding their lane opponents, and with a Singed, you probably won't, you're going to be fine. Because this entire composition is a Juggernaut composition. You care about the Kog'Maw. Everyone else is there to provide shielding, healing, just an extra body to buy more time.
When level 6 on eluded, that goes even more so. I expect that Stand United to never go anywhere except on Cog with the blog. Like, if it goes to anyone else, things are going wrong. That's kind of my prediction for the future. I wouldn't even say FN99. Like, FN99 is just going to be bait. Like, you get your taunt down, get the grand entrance, and then your duty's done.
Yeah, if anything, maybe we see FN99 get the Stand United, but only in a situation where it actually buys more time for Cog, like with that taunt to come through. I fully agree with you, right? And I'm actually curious to see if we do see any of those global ultimates used early, or are they all just going to be used defensively as well? Because normally, when there are global ults, we call for like, oh, level 6, get some action, get some ganks going. But again, if everything's just about the Kog'Maw, then I don't know if we'll see that.
Yeah. Frost actually in a dangerous spot here. The wave is in your favor, but your HP bar says otherwise. And Lingalini, remember, when you pop that potion, you're actually healing up behind. And with those slips and more so, Lingalini's actually going to get a free kill. Flash doesn't matter. You're slowed, you're killed. And even with the Shen ult,
wait!
Got it. No! Frost! Frost eats the alchemist for breakfast!
Orbital, let's not forget, Frost counterpicked with the Renekton. So, Frost knows, or Frost thinks that this is the winning side of the matchup. I'd be surprised if he did go down there. That said, one more Q.
Oh, okay, one more auto tech token. Okay, it's a technical 1-for-1.
No, it's a straight up 1-for-1, but it's not a 1v1 Orbital.
Yeah,
that's the technical part. Yeah, Lingalini did most of the work there. Hey, we take those Korean. Why do we keep coming back mid?
I think it's because FN99 survived. I think that's actually what we're highlighting right now. Like, we're happy FN99 is not in the gray screen right now.
No, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. There could be a shot blast right here. Korean Park has Ignite and Flash as well. You just jump in and get out the other side. Oh, there we go!
Oh, no!
You see, it happens so fast. We have to call it in advance. Cog with the bog.
True, bot side is going to be a little different as well. Final proc a Sifra. The lanes are falling apart as the Juggernaut comp might not even have a Juggernaut to begin with.
Oh, and it's so unfortunate, but we were talking about all those outs being used defensively. That would have been a perfect time to do that. Unfortunately, eluded. Stand United's down already, and FN99 was dead. So, for SEMO, if that was planned, Orbital, it was orchestrated immaculately.
Well, this is going to be the difference, right? FN99 TPing to the bottom lane and trying to get some help in. Trying to buy time as well, right? This is actually pretty low on the side of SEMO, so if you can run him off Dragon, that actually feels good. Eluded also coming in from the side. Yes, you don't have ult, but you have enough HP to deal with it. Jackal and Sifra, they're not exactly super damage heavy just yet, so it is going to be an afforded Dragon over Korean, though, saying, hey, I want a little bit of a chance, and Powered Q is not really going to land. It's going to be Dragon. It's also only a Cloud. Like, you don't really have to worry too much. It's going to be taken, and with that call, it's Ocean Soul to come out here. Going to be very interesting to watch the play go down.
Korean Park still looking for this one, too.
Oh, man. That's going to be a jump in. Korean Park realizes there's a little bit of a difference, and, you know, the waters are a little bit murky on our screen right now. There we go. Okay. We have stabilized. It got filtered out. We're good.
So a bunch of things happened there. So well played on the side of JJ to come back in and punish SEMO for trying to attempt that Dragon and not recalling. We are still fairly early in the game, so Dragon isn't the fastest to go down, especially with a Zac, Rel, and a Kaisa who has not really upgraded their first item yet. That is a Manamune, not a Mira Mana. But the result is actually worse for JJ. You get a Cloud Drake, good for you, but mid lane was absolutely atrocious. A fight in the pit.
I mean, it's not much of a fight when the Croc is just eating you up. Korean Park with the snipe from downtown steals that kill away, and Eluded is going to live. Still, those 6 scrubs to not only a pushing top, but a pushing Korean Park who more than is excited for this fight. Eluded chased out. I don't think you're good. You get to execute? Nope. Olio gets a freebie, their second of the game.
Was that just from the fight, or was that the burn from the Ami Cinder?
I think that was from the fight. It was actually fairly short. It was only about 10 seconds after they were trying to disengage.
Wow. Okay, that felt a lot longer. However, I
It
still want to
did,
go
it
back to my point about FN99 in the mid lane, because that play happens because FN99 got chunked out immediately. Sure, he TP'd a while ago, but he didn't get back to a lane, and Korean Park almost killed him en route to lane, and therefore you have no pressure mid. You can't protect against against the Void Grub take, and now you can't protect your turret as well. Korean Park has been escalated from a mid lane problem to everybody's problem.
Anytime you see this Jace wandering around, you know you're in for a rough time. That's it. That's the game. That's the problem. And I love it, right? As a mid lane player myself, when you have this sort of impact on the game, especially with the champion that your sole goal is to have that impact, you're ecstatic, right? You're so happy that things went your way. You've also been granted a lot in the back pocket. So I think for that instance, JJ, they're going to be kind of fluctuating, and they are looking at other lane options. The bot side alluded, tried to work out their best, but again, how much are you actually getting down here? Top lane, I mean, Lingalini is pushing for their life, but they're down about 40 CS, I think, if I counted that correctly. So bot side is really where it's at, but guess what? Again, it's the problem child. It's Korean Park. That's going to be a body block coming in from Olio, and now FN99 is in trouble. No flash available. They're just going to hop in. Olio has passive. You can tank this up. In goes the Magnet Storm to draw another kill, and I think they're going to be okay. How long can you live? You're actually able to survive. Olio's out. They dive on the edge. Olio able to survive, and a final shot might land. You have one auto attacker remaining. Cog with a blog, hustling their way to safety. I don't think it's going to work, though. FN99 in a bit of a problem. Jackal gets us burned. That is a rude ignite. A kill comes back for the side. I've alluded, but I mean, how much more can you do after being able to survive there? This is a messy bottom lane that SEMO is still like, yo, we're okay. We're in a good spot.
Yeah, and in the top side, they're chilling because the Aproxian Olio gets taunted by the red buff, but they don't have enough damage. That's a support and a Shen. We said this so many times with JJ's comp. This is ultimately a Juggernaut Maul composition. The only other person who's really got damage right now is FN99, and even then, you look at the items FN99 has. Hextech Alternator, Boots, Aether Wisp. You haven't completed that first item yet. You are so far behind the curve right now.
Top side as well, Frost starting to get a little bit better in the trading patterns, and you can see it, right? It's building up to a nasty difference, and this Croc is gonna kind of be in your face, especially with Herald coming up here, and it is gonna be taken away by the side of SEMO. They can start breaking open this game. They can start forcing opponents to kind of wander their way. Dragon up in a minute as well, so a lot of objectives are gonna be up and fought for that JJ. I mean, yeah, you want to skill, maybe you give up a dragon here or there, but there's only so much you can give before things are just too dire.
That's it, Orbital. I think it is good that its hearts are kind of going down for JJ. Well, the silver lining is that this is a team fight composition. You need to team fight. And up to this point, that hasn't been the case. We're seeing SEMO win out in individual lanes in small skirmishes when the comp needs to be together from JJ. So now hopefully Hog with a blog gets the backup he needs in order to really start swinging this game.
Right now, you don't really have too much. You got to flash away too. Safety TP coming from the other side. So SEMO saying, we are going to try and take this fight. That's going to be a sudden knock up. And then the kill. Sifra is on a rampage. The ensuing fight behind. I'm not sure is one that they want. Sifra now trying to get chunked out here. But that's going to be a meetup in the enemy side. Jungle Korean Park said, yo, no safety for you here today. As SEMO are going to melt a little bit in the backside. Frost and Olio cannot duel this one out. Korean Park now going to get a snipe over the side of the wall. Needless to say, it's still a dub for SEMO as JJ are able to collect a little bit more. And Lingalini, it might not be Cog with the blog, but it is going to be a kill nonetheless. Frost, are you going to burn? I don't think so. Korean Park with double boss, gonna slam down the hammer. Exhaust going to do next to nothing as it's a double kill for the Jace.
Korean Park with the cleanup from the back. Orbitals hit longer than expected. They got lower than they'd hoped, but SEMO still come out with the win here. And this, we're seeing sort of the skeleton for what JJ want to do. If Cog with the blog wasn't the first one caught out, maybe they could have turned that fight. And they're down 7,000 gold when they did it, Orbital. So JJ is not out of the game just yet. But SEMO wasn't a great way either, right? They didn't have their biggest carry with them in that particular fight. And that makes these upcoming 5v5s that much more interesting, that much spicier.
I like the fact that the jungle is affording way too many opportunities for Korean Park to be a bully, right? These bushes, these problematic angles, it's harsh. And granted, because JJ were able to snipe one of the dragons away, it is not going to be soul point, but it's ocean, right? It's the healing buff that SEMO kind of want to have. And I mean, the dragon might go down slowly. It's still going to be SEMO's in the end.
that both teams really want to have, because the biggest counter to a poke composition is Ocean Soul, because it just regenerates you through all that poke. So JJ really want to get a piece of that action. Now, good call from JJ to not fight that. Right now, they would probably lose. They almost won the last fight because SEMO chased the Singe. So you need to manufacture a fight now where SEMO is playing into you and Lingolini can actually participate in team fights. That's the problem with the Singe. He's not a natural team fighter.
He's not. He's more just the look at me, look at me, look at me. If you don't look at me, I don't really do anything. That's all it is at the end of the day. I'm sorry. It's another challenge to be had though. JJ though, I appreciate the stylization of comp right now. It's very interesting to watch here. Lingolini and Eluded though gonna try and make themselves a nice handbag out of Frost's life, but Frost has 2 items, more than enough to kind of duel out. And not just that, baiting for the team. Eluded doesn't realize they're actually going to collapse on. They're going to try and turn it around. Korean Park gets another kill at this point. It's just a minion kill, if you will. Topside, though, nice little chunk. And then some Frost slicing through everyone. Caught with the block on the other side of the river. On the other side of this wall, trying to get the kills, and actually does pump out the damage. Lingolini able to find 1. Cog with the block, trying to chase down the rest. And I mean, Frost and Jackal, you don't really have much. A jump in with a knockup is going to try and keep them tame. And they do turn around, killing spree for Frost. Do they get even more? Maybe so. Frost waiting for cooldowns to happen as Olio is haunting the Lulu. Lulu is now down. Max and Laddle is dead. Meanwhile, Korean pushing for their life. SEMO with a top side play earns themselves so much of JJ's base.
10k gold lead, Orbital. 10k before 20 minutes, and I cannot believe that happened. I thought JJ won that fight. I thought they were going to be fine when Cog came with the flank, when they found Sifra, when Frost was burning down, but it looks like Cog overstepped ever so slightly, and Frost was right on top of him, right in there, took out that Cogmo, and 7,000 gold lead. Okay, I still think JJ can fight back from that. 10k gold lead and potentially a Baron buff? That one's a lot tougher.
It is. Not only that, JJ, you have to think of that other side of it, right? We kept pointing out that Cog with the blog, this Cogma is the main carry. If you don't get gold inside of that Cogma, it's a problem. Take a look at where all the kills are currently residing.
True.
None of them on Cog with the blog. There is no kills, and I wouldn't really point that out if there were other damage threats. Lingolini is not a technical damage threat. FN99, not a technical damage threat. Eluded, not a technical damage threat. It's there. They are available, but they're not the mainstays. So that gold lead that is currently there for SEMO, in my opinion, much, much higher than we're seeing right now on the numbers. Korean Park, though, getting soloed out here, and this will be that kill. You wanted that tower, and you got it. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, though, SEMO pulling off of Baron after they lose Korean Park.
Yeah, actually, that is a huge potential pickup. Sifra going in.
All right, Sifra's killer number 2 on this team.
Yeah, there's certainly more damage or other damage threats other than Korean Park on this SEMO roster. Now, I do want to sort of correct a little thing about JJ's damage profile, because FN99 has opted to build damage despite Galio not being a huge damage champion. He's actually running Storm Surge right now, so he's not going to be as useful in terms of creating that space, but he can try and act as a follow-up to Cog with a blog, and I appreciate that change because it alleviates the concerns that you were bringing up. Otherwise, I fully agree with you. The setup was no damage without Cog, but now, okay, you got some damage. It still can't carry the fight, but you can maybe try and clean up if Cog gets them all low first.
I 100% stand corrected, right? I saw that Storm Surge and I was like, that's interesting. You know, it's FN99 who got bullied out early, but you're doing the best that you can. Yep. And I agree. JJ are hoping, they still haven't had that all-encompassing team fight, though, that they really do want to have. They want to have that great entrance. They want to have all that shutdown power. And the main one, and the main reason, is the one that you saw on the top side of your screen. The Korean Park has just been rude with it. Almost 13,000 gold in the pocket. This Jace, this R3 Jace has gotten the world and then some here in Game 2.
Korean Park Flame Horizon and doubled FN99's gold. That is not okay. And to be fair to FN99, not all of it's from the lane, right? Like, Korean Park has killed 9 people. FN99's only died 5 times. So, Korean Park's just snowballing incredibly quickly everywhere else. That said, Cog with the blog still trying to go toe-to-toe here, and they found a pick before. They can try and find a pick again.
Yeah, and Olio actually, so one of the big reasons that a teamfight didn't break out there is Olio, JJ actually pushed up enough, and now that means Korean Park is actually in danger. No spell shield to be had. Maybe you get this kill, out you go, but that's going to be a good knockup. A Magnet Storm to draw everyone in. JJ is going to try and hone in, but needless to say, Korean Park isn't there. Neither is Frost, so JJ are able to use their comp to perfection, and they gift kills over. Linkalini in the back is going to fight even more, but Frost is here. Frost says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to slaughter you. Sifra says, I'm going to follow. It looked good for JJ, but SEMO cleaned it up. That is 4 for 2 and a triple for Sifra.
We were just saying it. There is a secondary damage source for SEMO, and they pulled the ult bait and switch. Haha, I tricked you because you went after Korean Park. You threw everything in the kitchen sink, and Sifra was the hidden threat the entire time. Lingualini has to be careful here. Frost could look for the dive, and that could enable Sifra for the burst. Instead, SEMO, they're going to fall back and go for the dragons instead.
I like it. Right, I was sitting there. I was like, man, Korean Park is actually getting jumped on here. You're half health. You don't have that shield up, and it's a problem, right? Again, Korean Park is very strong. And then I was like, oh, the reason this fight is happening is because Frost isn't in the game. Frost comes in the bot lane and says, yo, what's up? And Sarah's like, I got you. It was so good. SEMO, yes, they might be overstepping their bounds, but they're still playing well within their win conditions, which I really hope to see even more. So JJ, though, it still feels bad because they tried to hand the kill of Olio over, but the blobs were just too strong. Cog with the blog is still sitting at 0-6 and 6. It feels so bad.
I also point out, Cog with the blog right now is going for immediate power. He's sitting on 2 recurve bows.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I actually,
that's is that the new build? What I keep forgetting what that is. They changed it.
It should be Ginsu's, and I don't know what the other one is necessary for.
Is it the temporal bow?
Terminus, you mean?
Terminus, not temporal. Why did I say temporal?
Potentially.
Yeah, Terminus, I think, right? I
mean, potentially, but usually you only build, nothing builds out of 2, right? So normally you just build 1 and complete the item. But because Cog needs the immediate damage now, he's gone for attack speed, which is the best modifier with his % health shred on that W. So I really like the idea from Cog. And it's kind of been working out because JJ's still winning these team fights when they get the full sort of 5v5 style fight when SEMO doesn't soften you up with poke. But SEMO now with Baron buff, it should be a safer push to come in. And for SEMO, I need to see them actually slow down the game a little bit and get the poke down before they commit to these fights, especially in choke points.
Yeah, this is... Oh, okay. So, no, it is. The B of Sword inside the pocket, that is actually Terminus.
Okay.
They changed the build pass, so it is double recurve bow and B of Sword. So
oh, it is double recurve bow. Okay.
Yeah, it is. That was one of the changes that they made, I think.
What?
That's why Terminus is so silly to see right now. It just looks weird in the pocket. Double recurve is just like, yo, what's up? Right now, though, that is not the big thing. SEMO is saying, yo, don't worry about the Kog'Maw. Worry about what we're doing to the base. We are through. Bot side already opened up. Mid lane inhibitor is now going to be taken. I don't even care that Lingalini is able to flip over the likes of Olio. This feels like a desperation play. That is going to be the wild growth used, but Lingalini is going to live. But look at the rest of the team right now. They're just doing their best to stay alive. Cog with a blog, able to finish off Terminus, but at what cost? The snipe from downtown. Sifra seeking out their opponent. Another tag means the killer instinct goes in. A good little polymorph is gonna keep it a 1-for-1, but it doesn't really matter because the rest of the damage are there. SEMO are saying it's all ours. They see the win in the back pocket. They were not even stumped at the crazy draft that came out. SEMO are going to knock down the Nexus Tower as they finish off the ace, and they take the series over JJ 2-0.
Oh, bro, that last fight, Cog with the blog wasn't there for the first half of it. And so unfortunate because we keep hyping up this Kog'Maw. We keep talking about how he can carry these fights. And then he wasn't actually at the fight at the end. So double recurve, Terminus completed. Terminus was actually completed right before the fight. Yeah. He just wasn't there. And unfortunately for JJ, they do fall here. But hey, props to them. Like I said, between games, Orbital, we saw how much they grew. Game 2 was indeed a lot closer, just not quite enough.
Yeah, and for all that we kind of poked at, this is a team on the side of SEMO that is well practiced, right? We saw it in I think every single one of their plays. It's a tough team to deal with. Like Korean Park in the mid lane, very strong laner. Olio able to kind of soak up pressure. It doesn't matter if you get behind, if you're playing those kind of gank, those engaging junglers. Their entire composition and their style of play makes me very excited for playoffs. I want to watch this team go further. I want to see how well they do. And for the side of JJ, you went up against a tough opponent and had fun,
Yep.
right? Those are two very different drafts that I very much enjoyed. And if they can clean it up, maybe it's that kind of a secret trick play in the back of the book that they can pull out.
Yeah, for sure. And SEMO, as you kind of mentioned, Orbital, what's really scary about them is it feels like you must be this tall to even challenge SEMO right now, right?
Yep.
If you can't survive their laning. And sure, we focus on Korean Park to start the game because he had the highest rank, and the team said, hey, watch this guy. But there is a bit of sleight of hand here because Jackal and Sifra were frankly really, really scary as well. Back in game one, Jackal is the undying Tahm Kench, and they dominated that laning phase. This game, Sifra was actually the real threat, the real carry after Korean Park got taken out the fight early. And Frost in that top lane was constantly winning and getting that early pressure, both in game one and in game two. So against SEMO, cheese is one thing, strategies are one thing, but you've got to deal with their overwhelming strength first before you can worry about anything else.
All right, if anyone's out there going to have to face off against SEMO in the next week or into the playoffs, that is what you have to watch for. Very dominant series from them. JJ, unfortunately, take a loss. They have one more week to try and get a win on the board, which is next week, of course. That is going to be the end of the evening here. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. These games, at least in my opinion, were very, very fun to watch. My name is Orbital. With me has been, again, RMC. Thank you so much to our production. It has been Colton as well as Samantha on the back end, giving us the greatest show possible. We all appreciate you being here, and have a fantastic night.